Welcome back to the video blog. It's Adam Daniel Mezei, and I'm dispatching from Prague, from the familiar windowsill. I'm really calm, I just got back from Belgrade, and I was at the gym, I did a few things before I sat down in front of the camera, but it was a great trip. This was the second time that I was in Serbia, and we really covered a lot of grounds, and on the last 2 nights in particular, we did a lot of interesting stuff. It was a productive trip. Towards the beginning it was a bit slow, but towards the end it picked up nicely and we got quite a bit done. And there's going to be quite a bit coming down the pipe for fall. Extraordinary people. The Serbs are extraordinarily fantastic. I know I've been going on and on and on and talking your ear off about how fantastic the Serbs are, or my various observations about the Serbs, but I don't think enough good things are said about the Serbs, and I don't think that enough positive observations are made about the way that their society functions. There are some really common things that I notice amongst the Serb friends that I have and just some of the strangers that I meet, that they're just, in comparison to, let's say, Prague, they're just entirely astonishing. I sometimes can't get over it. I was coming back from the airport here in Prague, and I saw one girl who was on the flight with me, and she was on the bus, so I kind of went up to her and talked to her, and anyway, it turned out that she was Czech, and she's a kind of a Slavic language enthusiast, so she's learning Serbian right now. And I'm interested in learning more Serbian, which in turn leads to more Russian. And as you all know, and if you don't know that yet, I was teaching myself Cyrillic this week, so now I can read Cyrillic. And I'm still reading like a 6-year-old, but at least I can read all of the letters, and I can mouth out all of the sounds, which is a hell of a lot better than I was before I started the week. And she was telling me about how she really admires the way that Serbian society functions, and she really has a great time every time she goes to Serbia. She wasn't in Belgrade, she was in Novi Sad, which is in the north part in a region of Serbia called Vojvodina, which actually has a lot of Hungarians in it, incidentally. She was telling me how she likes how Serbs kind of, like I always talk about, how they play for keeps. You know, how they don't equivocate when they really have something to say. It's yes or no, and when they're with you, and when they're not, and you know that because I feel it, and I know that because I'm there, and I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of a conversation. I was in a club called Amsterdam last night with my friend Nikola Danic, and he took me to all of these interesting Serb spots, and what was so great about this club was it was an authentic Serb club with like a clarinet player and singers, and everybody was dressed to the nines. I mean, like completely dressed to the nines. It's like Amazon people, like the average Serb is like 6'2" plus, so like I'm walking around in this nightclub and it's just like they're giants, and I was telling Nicola, I'm like, I want one of those, and I was pointing at like one of these really tall girls, and I was like, I'm gonna get one of those for myself. It was kind of funny. We had a really good laugh. We're putting around the city on Nicola's scooter or his motorbike. It's like at all hours of the night, with like flip-flops. Nicola and I are like going to all these riverboat clubs. And, you can just tell the way that people interact in the clubs in Serbia. It's really fantastic. But back to this girl, and she was kind of saying that she just admires the way that Serbs are really, straight cut, as opposed to Czechs being, so-called diplomats. She used the word diplomat, and I thought it was just being indecisive, which she subsequently agreed with. I didn't actually think she was Czech when I had met her, because she had such a Serb affect about her, which was kind of funny. But I subsequently learned that she actually works for the Ministry of Education in the Czech Republic, so she has an interest in kind of like Slavic things or Slavonic things. And it might be a good, interesting contact, because I'm really curious about learning more Serbian myself, and she has a few tutors here locally in Prague, so that might be the kind of system that I want to employ as I get better at Serbian. Even the way that Serbian sounds, Czech, when spoken, sounds like a song. It's very mellifluous, and it sounds like an Italian song, whereas, Serbian sounds more like just, staccato beats. It's more sort of gruff, but in a really sort of authoritative sort of a way, which I really appreciate. I am really impressed by my Serbian friends. My Serbian friends tell me that I'm really fortunate that I'm friends with them, and that I'm not friends with bad Serbs, in such that I have good opinions about Serbs. But like even today when I was leaving Belgrade, there's like the guy that runs the kiosk, and I had to get a couple of things before I left town, and he started chatting me up in English, no less, about all these different things that he observed around the world, you know, back in the day, in the XU, in the former Yugoslavia. And I have so many good things to say about the place, and I'm looking forward to getting back there in a few weeks' time. But in the meantime, to all my friends in Serbia who are in on this, Dragan, Vladimir, Danica, Jovana, Nikola, Biljana, Ivana, Željko, Maria, so many people that were over there, Nemanja, if I didn't mention that already, and Misha, and everybody. I mean, the whole, you know, J-Rock, Mary, and all the saints, I gotta say to you, I wish for you many good things, and when it gets lighter tomorrow, of course, I'll have more to say. It's getting dark. And go Spain. See ya.